Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the ETAB from basics, and it's not just about the learning software. It's about learning about the calculations which software does in behind. So to open an ETAB, it's a new version. You need to double click the ETAB version, and then uh, ETAB will open. So once ETAB is on, so this is the window of ETAB. So now this is ETAB window. Let me open a file, new file. Here I can save a new file. When I click a new file, I can open the earlier saved default setting files, or I can go a model file, or I first I am starting everything from scratch. I need to select the units here. I need to select the say Indian here. Then I have to select the code here. So the codes which I have selected is this. You can click here for the information. It's saying the steel design code is used. Here the units which are there, it will show you the information. So here settings include units, options, preferences, properties. This can be saved from any model using the command option, save user default. So settings includes units, options, preferences. This can be obtained from an existing model. So you can just get it from the existing model instead of setting all again. So since we are starting from scratch and using this built-in settings. Say OK. So ETABS works with the grid system. It doesn't work with the uh, so in order to start anything in ETAB, you need to have the grids placed first. So say I have 6 number of grids in X direction. Say I have some 4 number of grids in Y direction. Say 6 meter is the distance between the grids. Okay. So you can customize this. Example, this is uniform grid spacing. Every grid distance is 6 meters. Say example, I have some in between some grids are having some 2 meters. So this is an ordinate. This is a total cumulative value. I want to see the spacing. So any spacing you can change. Now this is the what I have done. I have created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 number of grids in X direction, 4 number of grids in Y direction. The distance between them I have given as the uniform, which is 6 meters. If you change say anything here as 3 meter, so you can see here the preview here it's showing as 3 meter. So just for the sake of demonstration, let me keep 6 meter as it is, and in Y direction and X direction. Let's start. Okay. Now this what we have done, we have defined the horizontal plane. Now the vertical plane is defined by the number of stories. Say I have some 10 number of stories. Height of the typical height is floor is 3.2 meter. Say the bottom story height also 3.2 meter. Say example, a particular number of height of the story is different. You can also go for custom here, and you can change anything here. It have automatically, because it knows the height, so it will automatically calculate the elevation. We'll talk about the master of stories in the times to come. So say okay. So this is uniform or custom. You can customize or uniform. So let me go to uniform. Say okay. Now, once you have given the grid system and the unit system, that is called as an initialization of model. We have not started any modeling as of now. We just created a jungle of grids. So this is how it looks like. It's showing story 2, the height is 32 meters because it has no height. You can go between the grids, between the plan. Say 0 is the base. If you try to go below 0, it will bring you the topmost story. Likewise, you can go up, you can go down. Not necessary 3D view. You can click here at elevation. It gives elevation at every grid by automatically, or if you want to add some elevation in between, that option is also available. So this is how you can browse between elevation, or you can go see this is what elevation of grid A. So this is the elevation of grid A. So this point is A1, this is A2, this is A3, this is A4, A1, A2, A3. So you can again go next, 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 like that. After E, then F. After F, we don't have Anything here, it will bring on the other side. So this is elevation F. To try to go further, it will bring on elevation 1. So 1 meaning you have 1A, 1B, 1C. Likewise, you can browse between various elevations and plan, or you can make a 3D view here, or you can make a plan. Now plan meaning directly you can go to any particular. Let me work on the 10-story plan whose elevation is 32. So this is the status of the window here. By default, there are two windows. We can change to single, or we need to increase the number of windows. This is the select windows. Once we select, we will come back. And here we have one story, all story, or similar or story option in tab. Let me work with one story in the beginning. As as a beginner, you should always start with one story. Then if you become a power user, you can go with all stories. Similar story, we will say example, if, there is a building where we have 5-6 basement, then you have some 5-3 commercial floors, then you have typical residential floors. So you can all the residential floors, say from fifth story to say 15 stories, the residential floors are same. So you can define them as similar story. That how to define and all, we will see in the times to come. So now quickly I need to start with the definition. So I go for, once the initialization of the model is complete, we need to go to define, and define also this chronology is also will help you. So first thing which I need to define is the material properties. So I'll go to the material, define. There are by default there are materials which are not about the ETAP. So I'll go and add new material here. Say United States, I want an material from India. Steel, structural steel, no, I want a concrete. Say M30, I want M30, say okay. So these are the elastic properties which are there. Non-linear properties, I will come back to non-linear properties when we go for the non-linear analysis. For linear analysis, these elastic properties are, you can make it to 25 if you want, or keep it as it is. All the default values, E is equal to 5000 root of FCK, or M30 root of 30 into 5000 MPa. That's how it is. So say okay. Now I will add a new material called rebar. Say rebar is one more. Say HYSD 500 is one material which I want to add. So this is the material. Again here non-linearity. We'll come back. What is the hystericity, stress strain, acceptance criteria? I'll come back and discuss. Then we go to non-linear analysis. And say okay. Now I have defined material steel and concrete and steel. That's enough for me to start. So I'll again go and define the section property. Now second thing is we need to define this before I can draw. Before I can draw, say I want to draw a column. Before I can draw that column, I need to define. Before I want to draw the beam, before draw, I need to define. Before I want to draw the slab, I need to define. So anything which you want to draw, you must define. Not like other software where you can, like STAD example, if you want to draw anything, you can draw. This is like we have drawn like this. You could have drawn, selected the members and given that this is the column, this is the. Every time you need to select and say type of uh, the member is column, horizontal member is beam, then so and so is the cover, so and so is the grade of concrete, grade of steel, and so on. Every time you need to select and inform. But in ETAB, before drawing anything, you need to define it complete. So if I want to draw the column, I need to draw to first define the column. So define what? I want to define the sectional properties of that. What is the sectional property? Say frame section. So I will go to the column and beam together a form of frame. So I will go to the frame, say column. By default, some column is there. Let me use that, or add a copy of this, or add a new material. Say I want to add a new material. So various types of properties descriptions are there in ETAB. Like you can define the steel composite, the filled pipe, you have a rectangular NKSI section, you have a circular NKSI section, steel structure, concrete, the shape, concrete T, precast I, all definition you can, or you can give in section designer your own. You can select auto list, non-prismatic when depth of a particular beam in a particular span changes within a span, a depth is changing, non-prismatic. General, you can define your own directly areas and all those things. So concrete rectangular, I'm selecting, say okay. Now I'm defining one column. Say I define the column. I'll identify the column as C. It's not necessary. C meaning software will not understand this as a column. Say 450 by 450 is the size of the column, and then I say M30. I select. Then here depth of say 450 mm. I'm not talking about. We will talk about the if they. I'm taking a square section. So these are the two local uh, grids, local axis of the column, local 2, local 3. I'll talk about the orientation. Right now I'm defining a rectangular section. So property modifiers you need to give as per Indian IS 18932 point 7 and point 7. To start with, I will go with 1 as of now. We'll change it as we go on. So modify lateral, modify rebar. So here, but just merely writing C here does not make it as a column. You need to select. If you even write C here, but you are clicking here, it will be designed as a beam. So right, just C writing here is for your identification that this rectangular section is the column property. But by selecting here, the software get an information that this rectangle of size 450 by 450 has to be designed as a column. Now select the rebar. Say here I need to select the rebar. Then you know, rectangular. If it is was circular, you could have get the spiral also option. But here this is rectangular, so spiral cannot be. Here there are two options: reinforcement to be checked or reinforcement to be designed. Also, you need to give clear cover for confinement bar. So this is clear cover, not to the center. Now these are the bars in longitudinal direction, and these are the confinement steel stirrups and all which we need to give. Now there are two options here: reinforcement to be checked or reinforcement to be designed. When we say reinforcement to be checked, then it can be done for the existing building. Say a particular client have approached you and asked you that I have a G+3 building, can I add two more stories on top of it? Then what you will do is you will model all you will ask for the existing structural drawings of that particular building. You will model it as it is in your software. You will add two more story on top of it, and in that existing building you need to give number of rods. Say here number of rods in third direction, how much number of rods in second direction. Say here it is 5, so 1 2 3 4 5. So in number of three third direction, 1 2 3. So if I can make it 4 here, 6, whatever, and you can select the die of the bar. And this is confinement steel. Confinement steel means stirrups, 10 mm or 8 mm or whatever spacing you need to give as say 200 or 100 mm. Say you have 4-legged stirrup, so you need to give here 4-legged stirrup in second direction as well as third direction, if at all. So you need to give here, this is the legs of the stirrup, 4-legged stirrup. So that's how you need to give here the complete. Say example, if it is a 4, you need to give 4 here, and so on. So say example here 6, you can give the 6 number. So this is when the existing buildings you are analyzing the existing building. One more query, one more point I want to say. Say example, there is an existing building and a client has approached you to add two more stories, but the client says, I don't have a drawing. What happens if there is no drawing? Structural drawings are not available. What you will do? You will need to go for the NDT testing. First, you need to do a physical measurement. Where are the columns? Where are the beams? You need to draw them in AutoCAD, and then you need to go and investigate the size, physically measure the beams, the column, the sizes, the center to center distances, make the general arrangement drawing. After that, you need to go for non-destructive testing, rebound hammer test, the performeter test, and you have to scan it and get the number of rods. So you will do it for, if not for all, you need to go for the maximum number of ultimate and penultimate number of the columns, and then you get the actual steels in beams, columns, and then you make the drawings, and then you have to model in your software, add two more stories on top of it in your software, and go for reinforcement to be checked. Right now, I'm going for reinforcement to be designed. This is because this is the first time it is a new building, plus I'm modeling from the start. Once you say the reinforcement to be designed, then this whatever may be the number, it will be whatever be the values in this, it will be immaterial. It will be ignored. So you will get the design steel as mm². It is. If you say reinforcement to be checked, then you will get the result in the form of demand to capacity ratio. If the demand is 100 and capacity is 200, 100 divided by 200, it is 0.5. So capacity is more than defined, it passes. So if it is the demand to capacity ratio less than 1, it passes. If it is greater than 1, it fails. So it will report you demand to capacity ratio when reinforcement to be checked. So right now I'm going for reinforcement to be designed. It will report me the area of steel in mm square. Say okay. So this is how I define the column. So section property. So here you can see the this moment of inertia about the area, all those properties it has calculated automatically and give you the properties. Say okay. I have defined the column. Say let me define one more thing of this, that is beam to start with. One column, one beam I will define just to start with. So I am writing B for my identification. Say weight of the beam is equal to weight of the column. Say 450 by 600 and say and 30 here, and depth is 600 and width of the beam is 450. So here just writing B will not become beam here. I need to click here show rebar, and here it has to be clicked as a beam. So it will design as a beam. Select the steel, type of steel which we have defined. What is reinforcement to be ductile beams? I will come back when I go for the non-linear analysis. So this is the cover to the longitudinal rebar group center. This is up to the center, not the clear cover. So say okay. So you have given modifiers. Even in the case of beams, you need to give modifier. This is the first thing. I'm not going to give you the modification factor as of now. Stiffness, we will give it as we go on. So you can see the properties here. I value, right? Say okay. Now say okay. I've defined the beam. Say okay. So I have defined one beam and one column to start with. Say okay. Now you can see the size, the title is untitled. I can give some name and save the file, say trial or whatever name I want to give. Say I will give some name, say saying it is existing. So I'll just now once you save the file, it will be saved with this name, whatever. No, that name is been displayed there. Now I want to draw the column. To draw the column, you have to either go to draw. To draw the column. First of all, we know that it is to be defined, which is done already. So go to draw a beam column here and quick draw column. So this is how you can draw the column. Or you see the icon here, the toolbar. And this is the same. So instead of going to through the pull down menu, I can use this quick draw column from the toolbar. So I'll go to quick draw column. So I'll start instead of going draw from the pull down menu, I'll go from the column directly. Now once I draw the column, which column we need to give, we have to select here the column which we have defined already. Which column? For say example, you have 5-6 columns, so you have to select that particular size which you need to draw. So ETAB will automatically give you can see my cursor now, it has become vertical. That's a draw mode. We are into draw mode, and it will prompt you at every intersection of the grid. So this is how you can draw the column like this. See, I am at the 10th story, so it is drawing from top to bottom. So this is how I'm able to draw. Or what we can do is one by one. Or what I can do is I can select like this. I can just a minute. I'll undo it. I can select like this and draw all the columns. So this is how it will automatically identify the grid. If you want to draw some off-grid column, so you need to give the dimension. Say 3 meter and say 2 meter. I want to draw a column from this point. So you can see here this column. I want to draw a column uh, from the grid point. So I can draw the columns. Off grid columns also I can draw by giving this distances here. So this is how I can draw the column I want to so you are in the draw mode now. So whatever columns, this is how we can draw the column. Now let us go to the beam. To draw the beam, click the draw beam, select the type of the beam here. So let say I want to draw this beam. So beam can be drawn from here, first point to second point here. So it will automatically give me continuity. So I can draw like this. This is one option. You want to break the continuity, right click the mouse button, the continuity is break, right? And again you can continue from somewhere wherever you want. uh, or you can have to escape from the command and again use the command. Second option is to draw quick draw beams. Quick draw beams meaning one click. We can draw the beam at one click like this. So this is how we can draw the beams quickly with one click, but it will draw between the grid to add. Just undo it. Let me use the fast command here and I will use like this. So this is how I can draw the beam quickly between the this one. So beams, I need to select this beam 550 by 500 and I'm using the, so I am drawing the beam because beams are there at every grid. So it has, I can use the fast command and I have drawn the beam. Now slab, I have not defined the slab. So to draw the slab, I want to draw the slab. So first I need to define the slab. Again, what I am going to define, I want to define the section properties. So define section properties, slab section here. Here add new property. I say I will identify the slab as 150 mm and then M30 say is width. I'll go for the shell thin. Right. There are four types: shell thin, shell thick, membrane, and layer. We will be going for the, see if it is a slabs where you are just want to distribute the load, then you will go for the membrane. But if you want to consider the membranes, the stiffness and all, then we'll go for the shell thick or thin shell. So, say example, we are going modeling a wrap foundation. So you, when you are drawing at the base, modeling at the base, so if the shear is predominant, you will go with the shell thick. If the bending is predominant, we will go for the thin shell. So we are going for thin shell here. Say the thickness of the slab is say 150 mm. So here again, we'll see when we go for the, so it's a slab type right now. Say okay. So I have drawn one slab, define one slab. So I can draw the slab. To draw the slab, go to draw floor objects. So draw floor, draw rectangular slab, draw quick draft. So these are also part of the toolbar here. So I'll start using those. Say this is a shaped slab. I can draw any shaped slab using this, more than 4 noded slab. This is rectangular draw slab. So like a beam, we have two options here. First option is I need to select the slab here. I need to select the starting point and then the ending point. Two points I need to select. This is how you can draw the slab using this. Or fast is this, at one click you can draw the slab like this. Now the point here is, can I draw a slab? Should I draw the slab panel by panel, or I should draw the slab completely together like this? Say I want to draw the slab completely from one point to the other point, from here up to here directly. Yes, you can draw, because ETAB will mesh this around these are different panels. ETAB will understand it, that it will divide this into the panels around the beams. Right now, if at all particular panel is having a different load, then you, to give that particular load as a different, you can click on, you can draw that panel as separately. If not, if the thickness of the slab is same and loading is same all around, then you can give this as a complete one panel. Right now what we have done, we have modeled the column, beam and slab. Let me go for the loading. So let me select the slab first. If I want to assign the loading, before assigning loading or anything, you need to select that. So to which objects you want to assign a particular assignment, you need to select them. I want to assign load on this particular slab. So I have selected that slab. Then I first selection, then assign. So I'm going to assign. What slab in ETAB language is column and beam together is called as a frame. Slab is called as a shell. I want to apply the shell load, meaning load on the shell. So you need to go to shell loads. Here we have uniform. We'll come back to all this, but let's say uniform load right now. So under the dead load, say floor finish load is 1.5 kN per meter square. We have three options here: add to existing load, replace existing load, delete existing load. So say you want for an existing load you want to add some load, you can go for, but it's better to, instead of adding, replace existing load. Whatever was drawn earlier, I'm going, whatever the load was given earlier, I'm going for the replace. Even if I am providing the load for the first time, I'm replacing with nothing. So always replace existing load is better. So we'll work with replace existing load 1.5. This is the on the unit area of the slab. Say apply Kn per meter square. Say apply. This is a slab load. I don't need to worry about the sign because I don't need to worry about the sign because it is already in the gravity direction. So once I assign this, you can see here 1.5. I have drawn only one panel, so it is showing me at one place. If this panel was separate, it would have shown 1.5 here and 1.5 here. One panel, one tag it will show you. So it is showing you that this is uniform load dead of 1.5. You are in the unit, so it will be Kn per meter. I'm not now. I want to remove it from the screen. I'm not deleting this load. I'm just removing from the screen. Show on deform shape. So this is how you can remove that tag from the screen. I have not deleted the load. So I want to now provide the live load. Select this again, first selection, then assign. Assign what do I want to assign? I want to assign the load on the shell. In E-type language, slab is called a shell element. So a shell object. So I'll go to shell loads here, uniform. This time I want to apply a live load of say 3 kN per meter square. So replace existing load. I'm working it again. Apply. So here you can see here 3, say close. So one tag for complete one panel. So this panel is given. So 3 kN per meter square is the load. To remove it from the screen, show undefined. You want to see back this load, for example. So to see anything on the screen, you need to go to display. What I want to see, I want to see the load assignment. Say shell, yes, shell load. I want to see a dead load, or I have provided some dead load. So apply. So you can see here 1.5 which we have given. Now, if at all you want to see live load, apply. So we have given 3. So this is how you can see the load which is given earlier. To remove it from the screen, show undeformed shape. I have not deleted the load, just I want to remove that. Anything which you assign in ETAB will show you on the screen to check that whether that assignment is correct or not, for you to study the assignment. Right. Now, I have provided the loads also. Let me go with these two basic loads. Then we will populate with some other things as we go on. So I've selected all. See, once I select by clicking outside, the selection is not gone like in stat. I need to clear this selection by using clear selection. See, I have selected. I want to clear the selection. See, it is showing 24 joints, 62 frames, one shell, 4 edges of the slabs are connected. Right? 24 joints meaning 24 columns and beam joint. 62 frame meaning there are a number of beams which are there, including columns. Right? So 24 columns and remaining are the beams. So when you click outside, it will not be unselected. Or you can go for the select, clear selection, or I have a toolbar here, clear selection. So clear selection, or I could have used here clear selection. If I want to use all selection, whatever is drawn in the bin, all are selected. Now I want to copy this. Instead of drawing with all story option on, I could have done it in one go, but I will model it on one story. Then I will go to define, sorry, edit. I'll go to edit, replicate. I will, instead of going it to on the this one, copy. There are two options here in edit. Either you can copy or you can replicate. Copy meaning only geometry will be copied, whereas replicate meaning whatever load we have given, including all the assignment, it will copy. So replicate already includes copy. So let will go with the replicate. Now replicate linear, radial, mirror, that all we can see as we go on. But right now I want to replicate in the below story. I have drawn on story 10. I want to replicate to the stories all below. Now you can see here, apply. You can see it is replicated. So this is how we can replicate. Now before going for the analysis, I'll go to the base here. I need to give the boundary conditions. So you can right click to view any property of anything in ETAB. I will need to right click that. on the mouse button. So if you can see restrain, it is restrained in X direction, Y, it is restrained in translation in X direction, Y direction and Z direction. So in other words, it is free to rotate about X, Y and Z. So meaning it is a pin joint. Now I want to make it fixed. Now where you want to either make it fixed or you want to make it pin or you want to give the soil interaction using defining some spring properties here. Right now we'll go for the pin. So make sure you are in one story. If not, you will pin all the joints of the columns and beams in all story. That is not correct. You need to only make the restrain in the at the base level, that zero level, at the foundation level. Make sure you are in one story. First selection is done already. Then go to assign. I want to give something about the joint. What? I want to restrain it. What restrain? It is already restrained again by default, restrained again translation in X direction, Y direction and Z direction. I want to restrain in about rotate, or I can click here and make it fixed directly. So it is restrain about X, Y, Z in translation as well as in rotation. You This will become nothing. It will just be a point. This will be pinned. This will be fixed, but this is fixed. I am going to give. So restrain in translation X, Y, Z direction and restrain about rotation in X, Y and Z direction. Apply. Say okay. Now right click on this. You can see here it is restrained in translation about in X, Y and Z direction. Also it is restrained in rotation about X, Y and Z direction, meaning it is a fixed joint. Now I have given the boundary condition, so I am ready for the analysis. So before going for analysis, go to analysis. You can go for a check model here, select all and say okay. So you need to make sure that the model is checked for any warning. There are no warning generated for overlapping or something, so no warnings are there. So now you can go for the analysis, right? And you can go for the run analysis. So you have already checked the model. You can set load cases to run, or I'll directly click from the toolbar here, run analysis. So I'll go and run the analysis. So we will what software does in the back when the analysis is being run, what it is doing, it is it is formulating a mass matrix, it is formulating the stiffness matrix, it is calculating the load vectors, and then it is calculating the displacement, and it will show it. So these are the displacement which are, we can see the animation, but right now I'm not going for the animation. First thing which I want to do is whether I have done any mistake in software or not. I want to check that. So I'll go to display, show tables. So first thing what I will go and check is the reaction structure output. I'll check here the base reactions. Say okay. So what is the total load for dead load is so and so, for live load is so and so in km. Now let us go to an Excel sheet which is bin. We will have to check whether this is acceptable or not. What I have done here is say slab 0.15 is the thickness of the slab which I have given, and if you see the total width of the slab here, 6 meters. So 1 2 3 4 5, so 6 5 is 30 meters is the length here, and 18 meters in this direction. So 30 meters here, 18 meters. So what I have done, I want to calculate the self weight of the slab is I have to give the formula in Excel. This equal to 0.15 is the thickness of the slab multiplied by the length multiplied by the width multiplied by the length and width, then multiplied by the density of the material, which is 25. So this I got the density of the material multiplied by, so I got the total weight of the slab. So this is for one story. This is for one story. All right, one story. So what I'll do is I will now for the 10 stories, I have 10 stories, right? So for 10 stories, how much? So for the 10 stories, I have, say this is for 10 stories. One story, so and so. 10 story, I'll multiply it with 10. So 2025 into 10. So this is the self weight of the slab. Now beams. size of the beam was 450 mm by 600 mm. Now how many beams are there? You can see here beams. So say here 30 meter is this length, 30 meter total from here to here 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4 lines are there. 18-meter lines, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I have done, I have given here that 30 into 4, 30, this 30, L2 into 4 plus 18 into 6. So I know the total, or 30 into 4 is what the total 120, 120 plus 18 into 6. So I am getting 228 as a total length. So this multiplied by this into total length multiplied by density of the material 25. I'll get the total weight of the beams. And for 10 stories, I'll get this total weight. Now column size is 450 mm by 450 mm. Now what is this coming from? Now the height is 3200. Now what is the depth of the beam? Because depth of the beam have to be removed. So depth of the beam have to be removed in say example here. What happens in calculating um, the depth of the beam? Say this is the column. Let me draw the column like this. So this is the column. For a particular story when I am calculating, or from story to story, center to center. So let me check about this. So this is the uh, depth of the beam is, you have 600. So total height is 3.2 meters. So I have to deduct this beam. I have to deduct this beam. So 3200 minus depth of the beam. Depth of the beam is 600, right? So let me go back to Excel sheet. Uh, Here 3000 minus 600. So this equal to this minus this equal to 3200 minus 600, right? Plus, there is also slab of 150 mm. So that also have to be minus. So 150 mm slab I have to minus. So is equal to 2600 minus 150. So the 2.45, 2.245. So is the you can see it. So you have the uh, depth of the column should be 2600. So 2450. So let me give 2.45, right? So is the depth of the column. Now column size is 450 by 450. This is the height, and then you have how many columns are there? You have, if you see here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 into 4 is 24 number of columns. So here I am saying 24 number of columns, and the material is RCC. So the density of the material is 25. So 0.45 by 0.45 multiplied by height multiplied by so and so. So I will get the uh, total 297, whatever I got. So for the 10 number of stories, I get this is the total 10 for 10 stories in km. Now super deadload floor finish I have given as 1.5 kn per meter square. This is directly a slab load per meter square 1.5. So total area is 30 by 18. So 1.5 into 30 by 18 is so and so 810 kn total load due to the floor finish, which is super deadload. For 10 stories, how much this is? Now you can see a total load per one story is so and so, and for total for all the stories is I have add total dead load here. So this is the total dead load I am getting. Live load, which is not floor finish, this is the live load. So live load is, we have given 3 kn per meter square. So 3 into 30 into 18. So this is 3 into 13 into 18. For 10 stories, I got into 10. So this is the total live load. Now I got the total dead load. I got the total live load. Let me check in ETAP. Let me check in ETAP. Go to display, show tables. As I said you, we need to go base reaction, say okay. Now you can see here what we are getting from ETAP. Dead load is 46462 and live load is 16,200. Let me copy this, Control C, and say let me copy here, say this, and now you can see here my dead load by calculation, by hand calculation, I'm getting 46716. This is 46. So if you consider the center to center of the columns, you will get the height. So you will get 4. So it's the difference is minimal. See, live load 16,200. I'm getting also 16,200. In fact, I have done here the total. This is the load from ETAP base reaction. This is live load. So this is the total which I got here. Now, if you see the how much will come back to this weight of each story. So this is how you need to first check ETAP base reactions, and whatever load you have given, it has to match, and now it is matching. Now what we'll do is we will go and apply the earthquake now. So what I'll do, I'll unlock this file. To make any changes, I need to go and unlock it. So I may unlock it. I'll go to define, uh, uh, go for the earthquake load. So I'm going for the load pattern. Here already dead load and live load was given. So already dead load and live load was given. So I will go and apply into the I will go and apply into the this one. I'll unlock the file. That was another file. So I'll unlock the file which we are working here. I'll go to, this is a trial file, define load cases, load patterns. So here only dead load and live load is there. So I'm going for EQX, and I'll say add new load. I'll say EQX, define load pattern. I'll say this file was unlocked. So I'll unlock it, go to define load patterns. So I'll go for EQX. I'll have to select the type of the load as seismic. Here I need to select the load. I want to apply as per which code? IS 1893-2016. So I've selected, I just created a name and say add new load. Quickly I will go for Y direction, say add new load. This is just, we have created a load case. We have not defined anything. To define the parameters, you need to go to modify lateral load. Now I want to apply in X direction. So I'll remove all the other directions. Now say my building is in zone 4. So as per table 2 of IS 1893, the zone factor for zone 4 is, this is for zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5. So zone 4 is 0.24. Say soil type of soil is 2. Importance factor is say 1.5. So we have two options to calculate what is the time period of the building. Time period of the building can be approximate, program can. Let me go for approximate. If I go for approximate, what is the time period of the building? You can see here as per 7.6.2 clause of IS 1893. It says that the time period of the building for bare frame is 0.075 h to the power of 0.75. So I have to give for RCC 0.075 for steel. So my case is RCC, I am giving 0.075. Or you can use a program calculator. If you want to calculate the time period based on the actual stiffness built in the model, unit ETAP will calculate a time period based on the actual stiffness matrix which is generated. Just to check the time period, I am going for the approximate right now, or not. If not, program calculated is the good option. You want to go for user defined, then you need to give your own. You as a user have to want to define your own time period based on experience. You can go for this. I am going for approximate. Now, from which story to which story you want to apply the earthquake, you can select here. Say some basements are there. So there are some clauses which, if it is connected with the frame or not, so you need to remove some basement, you can, but that will discuss as per the code afterward. Now, response reduction factor, it is either R is equal to 5 or 3. We'll discuss about what is reduction factor as we go on, but right now, if it is you are going with ductile detailing, as per 13920, R is equal to 5. If you are going for detailing as per SP34, which is normal detailing, then R is equal to 3. So R is equal to 3 or R is equal to 5. So I'm going R is equal to 5. One more option here is there is eccentricity. If at all you want x direction plus eccentricity, then you 5 as per the code, minimum 5% eccentricity, that is 5%, meaning this is ratio. So 5 divided by 100, 0.05. If you are considering the eccentricity, then you need to consider eccentricity in both direction, x and y. So separate load case with plus eccentricity in x direction and separate load case for x minus the eccentricity in y direction. Right now I'm not considering eccentricity, so I'm going with this. So you need to give this as per the codal parameters. Now y direction also I'm considering without eccentricity as of now. So in y direction, all the other parameters remain same, say 1.5, say approximate, and this is all okay. Now example I have given EQX, EQY without two EQ in x direction without eccentricity, EQ in y direction without eccentricity. If at all you want to give eccentricity, then you need to consider EQX plus eccentricity, EQX with minus eccentricity. Likewise, EQY plus with plus eccentricity and EQY with minus eccentricity you need to give. So instead of 2 cases, there will be 4 cases. Say okay. Now, before going for the analysis, you need to define the mass source, from where the mass is coming. So mass matrix, so mass source, say modify, already by default there is some mass. So here it is saying from the self element or additional mass, but I want to give this mass as per the code based on the load pattern. So this will be double here with load as well as element. So if I click on load map, I need to remove these two and I need to give only based on the load. What code says? Code says that the mass should be how much? Mass should be, see 100% of dead load, and for live load it is either 25% or 30%. Our live load intensity is 3. Up to and including 3, the live load consideration should be 25%. If the live load is greater than 3, it should be 50%. Our live load, you have seen here, we have given live load as 3 kN per meter square. So I am going to give percentage of live load as 25% of live load only. I will give the uh, live load as only 25% of live load. I will give the load as 25%. So 100% of dead load plus the live load as 25%. Add. So include lateral mass, yes. Include lateral mass at every story, yes. Every story is considered as one, which is center of mass. We will talk about what is that. Then include vertical mass. When we apply the earthquake in vertical direction, we need to come and give this. Right now I'm not giving in vertical direction. Say okay. So this is how the mass matrix is generated. Now save it. Now I'm ready for the analysis, static analysis. So I'll go and write, I'm going for the static analysis. Now static analysis. So we will cross check that is static analysis with our calculation. Now you see our building, total building height is 32 meter, which we have seen 3.2 into 10 stories, so 32 meter. Soil profile was 2, zone factor was 0.24, R is equal to 5, response reduction factor, importance factor 1.5 we have taken, right? Now let me calculate the time period manually. Time period is how much? You have seen in the code, time period is 0.0075 h to the power of, for bare frame. So without wall. So for bare frame, without any masonry infill, the formula is 0.075 h to the power of 0.75. So I'm using this to calculate the time period. See here, h to the power of 3 by 4, 0.75 into 0.075. I'm getting a time period of 1.0009 seconds. Now, what is the formula for calculating base shear manually as per code 7.2 clause? BB, base shear due to earthquake, is given as AH into W. Now, what is AH? AH as per the code is given as, in code, AH is equal to, as per clause 6.4, Z by 2 into SA by G divided by R by I. Meaning, if I bring this up, Z by 2 into I by R into SA by G, right? Z is a seismic zone factor 0.24, I is importance factor 1.5 I have taken, then R is equal to 5 we have taken. Now what is SA by G? How to calculate SA by G? Now SA by G can be calculated as per this using the code, this Indian code you can see here. See acceleration, now here SA by G for equivalent static method which we are doing, and for dynamic response spectrum which we will go and see again. Right now I'm going static. So time period, our time period is 1.09 second. So our time period is for rocky soil, our type of soil is medium, so this one. So time period, if it is between 0.55 and 4 seconds. So our case is time period is 1.009 seconds. So SA by G will be 1.36 divided by T. So SA by G, I will calculate here. SA by G is equal to 1.36 divided by T. So how much SA by G I am getting? 1.34. Now we will calculate VB is equal to AH into W. AH meaning Z by 2 into I by R into SA by G. So Z by 2, so you can calculate here. I have calculated Z by 2, Z is 0.24 divided by 2 into I by R. I is 1.5 by R, and into SA by G, which is SA by G is 1.34. So into your W, seismic weight. If I give that formula here, same thing I am giving here. VB is equal to AH into W, and AH is equal to Z by 2. VB is equal to AH into W, right? Into seismic weight. And AH is equal to Z by 2 into I by R into SA. So Z by 2 into I by R into SA by G multiplied with by the seismic weight W, which is equal to VB. The seismic weight W I got, which is how seismic weight W we should get? We should get seismic weight W 100% of dead load plus 25% of live load for each floor. One floor is I got for one. This is for 10 story which we have checked. This is for one story. So this is of 5076, 5076.7 for one story I am getting. This is 100% of dead load plus 0.25, 25% of live load is 5076 is the weight of each story as per manual calculator. Now let me check what is the weight of story which ETABS have given. So I'll go to display what ETAB have given the this one. So let me go to show tables. Say I have here other definitions. So uh, we have we need to go for sorry, we need to go for here to check the mass. We need to go for miscellaneous mass definition mass. So click OK. This is how we have given the mass source. Okay, now I need to go to display, show tables. We need to go for the we need to click for the this is the definition of the mass. Now we need to go for the mass of the floor. Actually, our model is unlocked. Sorry, I have opened the other model. So let me go here. The model should be locked. So go to display, show the table. Here I'll go to the other definitions, mass data, total mass by story. So it will give you the mass by story. Say okay. So here I will give mass by story. How much mass it is giving? This is the mass. 10 story. This is in kgs. So I'll control C. I'll copy this and I'll bring in the bring it here. Now this is in kgs. Mind you, this is in kgs. So what I'll do first of all here, if I see here, it is uh, it is display, show table. So it was for, it is from story 10 to bottom story 10, 9 and so on, but my Excel sheet I have from the story 1, so I'll reverse it. So this value 4952, say 4952 have to be divided to, because I'm getting this in kn, this is in kg, so I'm dividing it by 10156, 495265 divided by 101, I'm getting in kn. So this is the 10th story, this is 10th, this is 9th, and they are all same. So 9 story, I'm getting 51384 whatever divided by 101. So this is the mass which I am getting from ETAB. Now you can see here I am getting 5076, here I am getting 5039. Manually I am getting the mass like this, I am getting the 5039, here also 5039, just error. So it's 5039 all around. So I'm getting the total mass from ETAB, which is comparable with my manual calculation. Elevation, you know this. Now, as per the clause, how this base share is distributed to each story, that is the code. This is QI, WI square. I'll give you this formula. WI into HI square by sigma of WI HI square. So what I'll do, I have done in ETAB, in Excel sheet, W into H, this into this square. So I've given this into this square. So WI HI square I've calculated for all stories. Just give the formula, copy, drag this. It will be for all the. It will copy the formula for all the this one. So I have got the WI HI square, and this is the sum of WI HI square. Now I want to calculate the seismic base. This one story for a particular story. Then here QI is equal to WI, seismic weight of that, into HI square, which I have calculated, divided by summation into VB. So what I'll do, this divided by WI HI square divided by total sum into VB. So this is from these 2436, the first story, how much it is getting distributed, 6.38. So this formula I have given, right? This divided by this into VB. So this WI HI square divided by summation of WI HI square multiplied by VB. I drag it, I'll get for the all stories. You can see for first story, this is second story, third story, this is the share of each story. This is the total. This total should match with this total. This is the one which is distributed to each story. So this total should match. So this is the total VB 2436 and this is 2436. So this is manually I got the 2436. Now let me check from ETAB how much base share I got. So display, show table, base reaction, structure output, base reaction. Okay. Now here base reaction. You see, because of EQX 2441, I will control C this 2441. So I'll go from ETAB. I am getting how much? 2441. You can see the percentage of error, almost negligible. This is what I got manually. This is what I got from ETAB, right? Total. So this is how I got ETAB total 2441. And how the distribution in ETAB comes? See here, distribution. For seeing the distribution in ETAB, I need to go to display, story response plot. In this maximum story, so I'll have to say the story shares, sorry, not moment, story shares. So how much under the EQX? So this is the share. Now let me format it. I'll copy this. Say here, 10th story how much? 615. 9th story 1134, 1544. Bottommost story 244. So this is how the share which I got from the ETAB, total share from the ETAB, and each story how it has got. So let me copy to show you from ETAB. So I will copy this from ETAB. Or story forces. This is story share. Let me go for the story forces directly. If ETAB will give only story share, not story forces. Now auto lateral load on each story, right? On each story, how much is the load? So that is what it is giving me. So I am calculating this. Control C. auto lateral load on due to EQX. So this is how you can get this auto lateral load due to EQX. So that to show I can get it in Excel sheet also. I can export it into Excel sheet, but I'm calculating this. So this is from top to bottom. In my Excel sheet, it is from bottom to top. So you can see here, this is at 10 story, how much? 615.809, 518 at 9. So you can see first story 6.40. So I've just reversed it. So from ETAP, I got this value. Sometimes you may get negative value. So we are concerned only with the absolute value. So this is the absolute value. If you sum them up, it is 2451, which we got already from ETAP. Right now, we got the manual calculation and ETAP calculation, then they are comparable. Now displacement, story displacement, I need to calculate manually. For that, I need to calculate the story stiffness. What is the stiffness of the story? Now stiffness comes from what? You come from the column and beams which are there. To calculate the stiffness, there are various methods, but this method is used by NUST. I'm using the same method. That's from from the, from these researchers, and that method is called as sub-assemblage method. And you can calculate the story stiffness like this for intermediate story. For if you can see example, this is the complete story, like particular intermediate story you can take, and you can assume it as a 2D this one, and take one frame. So you have two beams at the top, two beams at the bottom, and connected with the column. So approximately we will calculate the stiffness for a 2D, considering it as a 2D, but in ETAP it will consider the 3D effect, and it will, let me compare. This is an approximate method. So Ks is equal to sigma W EC into I of column divided by 12 EI by L cube, you know, right? The stiffness. Now to that, this factor, stiffness of the column plus sigma of stiffness of the beams that are at top. These two beams are at the top divided by 4 times the stiffness of a column plus sigma of bottom beams, stiffness of the top beam. So this is how you will get the total stiffness here. And this is for the intermediate story, and sorry, this is for the intermediate story, and this is for the bottommost story. So intermediate story you will get from the bottom beam and top beam, top beam, bottom beam. So you will use this formula where kbt is equal to I of beam divided by length of the beam, top beam, and stiffness of bottom beam is moment of inertia of the bottom beam by length. Stiffness of column is equal to moment of inertia of that flexural stiffness of the moment of inertia of column divided by height of the column. So you know all this we have. We'll see here. See E value from ETAP. I can get E value. E value. Say define material properties 5000 root of FCK, which we see here. E value 27386, MPa meaning Newton per mm square. So here I got E value 27 Newton, MPa Newton. IC is the column here I have done 450 by 450 is the size of the column, BD cube by 12. So B into D cube divided by 12. So this is the, so I am getting this from here, this equal to this. This is moment of inertia of the column. Moment of inertia of beam 450 by 600. So BD cube by 12. So I am getting this value. Moment of inertia of the bottom beam and top beam are same for me. So bottom beam and top beam, they are same. So I am getting the moment of inertia like this. And length of the beam 6 meters. Height of the column is 3.2. Now we have 24 columns. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 24 columns. So I have 24 columns, and number of beams at the top. If you see column 1, you see the column 1. The first column, if I see here, there is only one beam here. So total this particular frame, only one side beam is there. But for the second column, you have two beams. Third, then again end column, you have only one beam. So like that, I have say for first column, top and bottom, one beams are there. For second column, likewise up to sixth column we have only one beam. You can see here in ETAP, This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sixth column again only one beam. First column, likewise seventh column I have only one beam. No, there is no beam here. Then seventh column I have only one beam. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 column only one beam. See 12th and 13th column you can see here 12 and 13 column only. Likewise 18th and 19th and last column 24 again we have only one beam at top and bottom. So here I have given that formula, this formula which we have given. I have calculated this for this formula I have given, and I have calculated the stiffness for each column. I have calculated for two and for the first story. So for the first story, this is the and for the all stories, we got the total stiffness. Now we got the total stiffness for story one. I got this is two, and for all other stories, I got this is stiffness. So from ETAP, let me go and check from ETAP this stiffness. So go to get the you have to go to define display, show tables. Here you have to go to structure output, and uh, and and from the other output you need to calculate the story stiffness. Story stiffness. Say okay. So here story stiffness. So under this is a story stiffness. I'll control C and I'll copy the story stiffness here. Or I can get the story stiffness from, now I'll copy the story stiffness here. Now again you can see here, this is reverse. This is for the 10th story is here. So 10th story I have entered here, 3804 for here. Here is the topmost story, first story will be more 54833. So I got 54. So this is from ETAB. So this is you got from ETAB the stiffness, and I got the stiffness from manual calculation. That manual calculation which we got here, this is K1 for first story, and for other stories, this is what I got. And you can see the differences. I have we have as done by because this is inspired by the video and us. So the comparison, I'm making the same comparison. You can see here ETAP is this red color is ETAP, manual calculation is this. Manual calculation, it is straight line, and for ETAP the straight change. Why this sudden there is more stiffness at the first story because of the boundary condition, that restraint which we are given. There is a difference here only in first story in case of manual calculation in ETAP, but all other stories it is comparable. This difference is due to the method. There are lots of method of calculating approximate, because we have calculated approximately using 2D frame. ETAP will generate the 3D stiffness matrix and it will calculate the stiffness. So just to by using the approximate method of calculating the stiffness, I have used this research sub-assemblage method and calculated the stiffness. They are comparable in all these stories except in first story, because the first story you will have the influence of the restraint. So that is how it is. Now the how global stiffness matrix will be there. Stiffness matrix will be K1 plus K2 minus K2 and so on. This is K2 plus K3. This is K3 plus K4. This is K4 plus K5 up to here K9 plus K10. And these values will be K10, K10. So now K1 plus K2, you can see here I have given here this plus this. Then here only K2. So this is 2 to 10. So likewise, I have calculated the global stiffness matrix. Now global stiffness matrix, you can see here, it is 10 stories are there. So 10 by 10 matrix will be there. So in this direction, we have 10. So here, because once every story we have considered as one single point. Every story is represented by one point, that is the center of mass of that story. So now we will get these 10 stories or so, we will get 10 by 10 as the matrix. 10 by 10 matrix I got. Now 10 by 10 matrix I got. Then I will calculate the forces which I got from ETAP. Or manually also you can see here these story forces which I got. I have calculated that here. See from this value K15. So this is K15 and so on. I have copied here. So this is the forces. Now I will calculate the displacement. Displacement is what? U is equal to, from finite element, you know, K is equal to F U. So U is equal to K inverse into F matrix. So F matrix we know. So this is how E-type also will generate the stiffness matrix. It will generate the force vector. Then it will calculate the displacement. So you know from the F is equal to Ku, force is equal to stiffness matrix by displacement. If you want to calculate the displacement, U is equal to K inverse of F. So I calculated the inverse using eta. This is the inverse of this matrix. So when I multiply this, these values you can see here. I have multiplied this using this into this. I can use M multiplier. So to multiply any two matrices in Excel, we have M multiplication. So I get this is in meters. I got the displacement in meters. So just to show you the method, you see here, say some matrix is there. Say what is the matrix here? Say 6 by 6 matrix is there. You can make 10 by 10. So want to inverse, so I'll get it is equal to here M matrix inverse. So this is the command. It is asking you to select the array. So I'll select this array. Now before that, we need to make sure that 6 by 6 meaning you need to select here 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So you want to have to select 6 by 6 and then give uh, M inverse. You select here and it is asking you to select the array. Now what you need to do is you need to use control, shift, control and enter together. You need to press shift, control and enter together, then you will get the inverse. I'm just showing you. This is how we got the inverse here. Same thing, right? M inverse. Then M multiply. If you want to multiply, say there are 2, 3, 4. Of course, there should be, 1, 2, 3. I'm just giving some numbers, or 2, 4, 3, something. Sorry. Say some values are there. Then you have to multiply with, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just giving these numbers just to show you how you can multiply in Excel. So this is equal to, again you need to select 3 by 3, right, is equal to M multiply. So you need to give here M multiply, return the matrix of an array with the same number of rows and columns. So M multiply, you need to separate with the this one, array 1, comma, then select the array 2. Again, shift, control, enter, you will get the multiplication. So likewise, this is the multiplication which we have done here. This is the multiplication which is done, right? And this is the inverse which is done. So this is how you can, now I have calculated the stiffness, and this is stiffness, story displacement we got. I have multiplied from the stiffness, we got the displacement. This is in meter. So I got it in mm, multiplied with 1000. You can see here the story stiffness from this sheet I got. And when I got the story stiffness from ETAP, sorry, displacement from ETAP. So I'll go to ETAP, how to calculate display. So, or you can go here, response spectrum plot, maximum story displacement under UQX. So this is how you have it. Maximum is 46.39. You can select here, formatted, see 46.39 and control C. I'm making it here. I just place here. Uh, you can see the topmost is 46 point ETAP, 46.397. So 46.397. The here it is 4.5 reverse value, because this is from topmost to bottom. This is bottom to top. So in my Excel sheet. So these are comparable again. Now this is the inter-story drift. How inter-story drift you will get? The displacement, this minus this divided by the story height, right? Any story. So 6 displacement at 5th story minus displacement at 4th story, this divided by the height of the story. 16 minus 12, 3.2. So I get the manually I got this from ETAB. I got how to get from the ETAB to see the inter-story drift. I need to click here maximum story drift. So maximum story drift. So this is a maximum story. To copy this, click formatted. So I'll control C here and I bring here in control V. You can see here I've given 0.005. Then next value is this. Last value is 13.00131. So this is from inter-story drift from ETAB. Then story share. What is story share? This is story displacement. The cumulative value at that point. You can see up to what value I got manually is this. If I add the story forces of all story up to the bottom, I'll get the story share at that particular up to second story. If I calculate, I'll get the story share for second story. If I add all the story forces up to this point, up to second story, I'll get the story share for this. Story share at the base, at the bottom is equal to story share, which is total this value, right? I'm adding all. So likewise, I will get for all the stories. ETAB also, now when you go to ETAB, we have already seen it, but see story share, you can see here, lateral, auto lateral loads. This is the load at each story. So control C. This is the load at each story. Let me. So this is what we got that story is load at each story, right? Now if you add all of them, you will get how much? See 2441, which is what 2441 at the top. Then or you can directly see that in ETAB the instead of seeing story for lateral load, you can see story share. This is plus. This is how you can get at every adding all those forces at each story, you will get that value. So this is what we got the manually story share and story movement. What is movement? Now, if I just want to show you how what is the movement, how it will get not here. This display story response plot. Now auto lateral load. Now you see this force multiplied by distance and will take the moment at the base. So this distance is this force 615 something multiplied by height 32 plus this force is how much at the base. We have that story forces here 615, that is 518. So 518, this force is 518. 518 multiplied by 32 minus 3.2 is 29 something. So this force into this distance plus this force into this distance. Adding all of them make taking moment about the base. You will get the total moment. So what I have done, same thing. I just use the moments here, all the forces here, all the distances here, and then I'll say this into this, then this into force into distance, and I'll copy all. So this is the total moment at the base. If you want to take the movement at the upper story, then at this story you want to check, there will be no movement from this. So likewise, you will have to go one by one. You will get the movement at each story. This is movement at the base. So what I've done, I calculate the movement at the base also, and then as per ETAB, what is the movement? Then that movement is manual movement, and this is ETAB. So to check the movement for ETAB, you have to go to display response plot. Here instead of maximum, you can check overturning moment under the EQI. So this is the moment you can calculate it. Control C, bring it to Excel sheet in here, and then you can reverse it. See 6122 somewhere here. 17 something. So this is the second value. Bottommost value is 1970.851 and so on. So this is how I have just minus values. I will take the absolute value. So this is how manually now same thing we have done it in the form of comparison. See here manually the stiffness. Here you can see story stiffness, except at one story, all the stiffness is matching here. That is to, as I said you, this is also not matching because they have used the approximate method to calculate the stiffness, whereas ETAB will calculate the global stiffness matrix in 3 dimensions. You can see story forces. story forces are exactly matching. It is matching though they are overlapping in fact. If you cannot see the second line, the E tab versus other. And story distance. Since the thickness is not matching, so there is also difference between at the displacement. Since displacement and thickness are not matching, so inter-story drift at first story you can see the difference here and here because of the thickness. This. And forces, you see story force is matching. So story shares, this is addition of this. Story, this is story share, and this is story movement. What we have got from data. So we have to manually check before accepting the background what the software are doing. So that was the purpose of this tutorial. And with this, I want to end the same. We will go for response reduction factor. Response spectrum method also. In the next video, we will bring up the uh, the details about Excel sheet manual calculation for response spectrum method. This is for static method where we have calculated all values, calculate the thickness manually, and comparing the result with data. Now the same in the next video, I will add the response spectrum method, which is dynamic method. This is static method. So dynamic method, what will be the analysis, what will be comparison, manual comparison, will create Excel sheet in case of response spectrum method also. And then we will compare the result for response spectrum method. Uh, with this, I will like to end the video. I hope you liked it, and please share the video for the manual calculation from the background.